right, guys, welcome to the first episode of House of Vibes podcast, where you come for all of the mental health conversations. My name is Sean Ware. I am the founder of House of Vibes Incorporation and CEO of Good Vibes Only. And I have my co-host here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Raven. I am the creator of IamSkin.co, and I'm the director of House of Vibes.
All right, cool. So y'all probably wondering why we passing the mic amongst each other and skipping this individual who's in the middle of us. But honestly, this is our special guest who is also, we're very fortunate for this individual to be here. She's coming all the way from New Jersey. And, I can introduce her, I can edify, I can do all those things. But honestly, I want you guys to hear from her yourself. Mm-hmm. So would you be able to introduce yourself and give us a rundown of who you are and, where you're from and all the things that you do?
All right now. Of course. So, my name is Moyanda. People call me Mo, Coach Mo. You can't hear me? All right now. So I am a mental health advocate. I delve in everything mental health, lifestyle. First, I'm a foodie, right?
Oh,
I'm a foodie.
Me too.
And I had to find space for that within my mental health journey, which I have. I started off as an executive coach, right? So coaching individuals, whether it was for their business or they were already business owners and they wanted to figure out how to get to the next place in their lives. And then from there, I'm like, this is pretty cool. There's some other avenues I can definitely explore. And I decided, I need to go be a counselor, a therapist, and really help people out with their just regular life journeys, right? So that's what I'm doing now executively. So I delve into all things transitional. So if you are 30 and you're trying to figure out what's next, I'm your therapist. If you're an entrepreneur and you just can't seem to figure out life yet, I'm your person. In that, I do a lot. I wear a lot of hats. I mean, this man right here can tell you it's hard to reach me because I'm doing so much. But it's all in the name of exploring life, loving life, and embracing every single day. So that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm at.
I love it so much. So, like, my thing, right? So when I think about therapy, I just think about, just people who are just everyday individuals, just want to go to therapy. They're not feeling well, or, they might have a lot going on in their heads and so forth. So I just want to know, like, because you said that you work with entrepreneurs specifically, right? And I personally didn't know that entrepreneurs have therapists. And I think that's pretty cool. So I'm going to tap it with you. But I want you to let Raven, let everybody else know what exactly, made the light bulb go off and say, hey, I want to work with entrepreneurs, to find out what the next step is in their journey.
Great question. So specifically, honestly, I'm an entrepreneur myself. Before the whole therapy thing, in college, I actually started a company, Speedy Service & Co. I all things writing. If you were, you needed help writing, you were an athlete, you needed study guides, whatever it was, I was your person. And that was my freshman year of college. And in that, I started other businesses, but that was my baby, my first one. I realized, like, this is a lot. It's a lot. Like, you want me to be running this. I'm also a daughter, a sister, a student, a person that wants to go out. All of these things, I have to wear all these hats, and I still have to be like, y'all think a 9 to 5 is crazy? Being an entrepreneur is a 12 to 12. So in that, I had to figure out what avenues, what spaces, what can I do to really give myself a pause, give myself a moment. And my peers, they had the same issues. I had a whole bunch of people that around me were entrepreneurs. They also wore many hats, and they themselves had, 3-month periods of being sad and depressed. Or, they would stop a business because it's not going well and they just can't figure out what's going on next. Or they're just so invested in their business you just don't see them, which is not okay, by the way. That's not okay. So, just figuring out my own life, figuring out what I wanted to do next, and what my purpose, what my calling is. It's not just to own a business, right? What am I giving to people? Why am I here? Why am I placed on this earth, by God to give to people? What am I giving to people, right? And so for me, that's what I'm giving.
So I know
back over.
I know you said you started talking about your life and like how you wanted things to go, but how do you create those? You're an entrepreneur yourself. You're also a therapist, but you may need a therapist. So how do you create those boundaries in between you being a therapist and you running your business, and then you being just a human being in general? You get what I'm saying? Like, how do you create those boundaries so that they don't like collapse within one another?
That's a good question. For me, it's modeling, right? So I can't tell my client or, my whoever I'm therapizing, I can't tell them, hey, you need to set boundaries. You need to close your laptop at this time. You need to take a break, take some time for yourself. I can't say those things without doing it, right? So for me, it's practice first. Before I can tell you what to do, I have to set my own boundaries. So I know, for example, I have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, which are my busiest days. Mm-hmm. And I know that I won't close my laptop. I won't stop what I'm doing till maybe 7 o'clock. But I know I have a hard stop at 7 o'clock. So whatever else it didn't get to, I'm not doing it to the next day. I mean, if it's pressing, it's something crazy.
Something, I need but,
right. So setting those self boundaries, even as far as the people in my life, everyone's always asking me, yo, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Saying no, it took me a while. But being able to say no is hard. It's hard at first. Hey, no. What you mean no? I have to say no, and I have to set that boundary for myself. Yeah. Otherwise, I won't have the space I need to pour into myself.
Right.
Okay, great. So, first and foremost, right? You're doing a phenomenal job with everything that you're doing. So, I want to give you a flowers for that. All right, but I know we had a conversation earlier. You went up, came in. You demanded the floor, and you told everybody, "Yeah, I'm from Jersey," right? So, I just want to know. What was it like growing up in Jersey, right? I'm from New York. Everybody like, New York people can't help but tell me they're from New York. But I just had to put that out there.
And I'm from Philly. I can't help but
right.
tell.
But we just don't know, right? I don't know what it's like to grow up in Philly. I don't know what it's like to grow up in Jersey. So, can you explain to us what that was like growing up in Jersey, and how that molded you into the individual you are now?
So, like 2 hours ago, I was telling somebody, New Jersey is really like one of the best states that you can live in. Not for the money. The money is what would deter you from living in, right? We have 4 seasons, so you don't get stuck in any which season suffering, right? We have beaches, we have mountains you can hike, you can go fishing, you can go to the water park, you can go to the zoo. Anything that you wanted to do in any other state you could do, right? So, in me saying that, New Jersey has been this melting pot for me, right? So, early on, even schooling, right? I went to schools in Newark. If you're not familiar with Newark, Newark is the inner city. It's the inner city of New Jersey, and in that, just being so immersed in all of these different cultures. I'm Haitian first, but sitting down with someone else that might be Arabic. I met people that were, people from like Zimbabwe. Just all of these different cultures, and being able to find like what's similar, what me and you have alike, and what's different, and I want to learn more about that. Even immersing myself in Nigerian culture. I'm Haitian, but meeting so many people from Nigeria, just from Jersey. Now we eating jollof rice. They teaching me how to make it, and just learning the intricacies of their own culture so that I can better appreciate mine. That's what Jersey has given me thus far.
Okay.
So I'm kind of glad that you brought out your culture, right? So I'm Jamaican, so I know. Like both of my parents, they're from Jamaica. They didn't come here until late 30s. So their way of raising children and their upbringing is different, right, from the American way. And that comes with a set of traumas, a set of experiences that can be detrimental to your growth, right? Are you able to share some? Well, I wouldn't say you need to go into detail, but some things that could have possibly happened or you experienced in your life where it's like, what, maybe I need to cut this out so when I have a family, I can't pass this
on. So for me, right, the biggest thing when you come from, I guess, Caribbean cultures is the boundaries thing. It's not like a negative. It's just now we have to, as whether we're first generation, second generation, teach our families. You don't have to hold that torch, but I would hope that you feel implored to, right? So hold the torch to teach your family's boundaries. for me growing up, there was no boundaries. We didn't know what that was. You know, you was arguing with somebody. Tomorrow you friends with them again. Nobody said sorry. Nobody took accountability. Nobody acknowledged anything. And for me now, it's major. It's big. It's big, especially in the trauma work that we do as therapists. Is, you know, allowing someone to feel heard, be seen, and either take accountability in what they did or force someone else to take that accountability. So for me and my family, my culture is really been, you know, setting boundaries, modeling, not necessarily telling, but I'm going to show you how I set my own boundaries in the hopes that you pick up on what I'm throwing down. I'm going to, you know, model how I take accountability and how I want you to do the same. So if I wrong you, I want you to tell me, and I want to take that. If you wrong me, I'm going to tell you, and I hope that you take that.
I like that.
I'm not sure if you really touched on this, but I'm going to speak on it again. Why do you feel like therapy was like, okay, I got to get into this. Like, this is it for me. Like, this is something that I want to do. I do want to help people, but I also want to help myself. Like, why was this something that you wanted to just jump into instead of just being an entrepreneur and just doing you?
Honestly, I didn't intentionally jump into it. I really do, like, I'm telling you sincerely, I really do feel like this was my calling. God pushed me into it. I enrolled into, like, my master's program right when the pandemic hit. Something said, go ahead online and look for schools. I did. I looked at which program was the easiest. I thought it was easy. I did that. It wasn't, the one I picked wasn't that easy, so I switched out, and it took a lot of prayer, a lot of guidance. I'm telling you, it sounds crazy. I did not intentionally pick this. It just was like
So
an
it was just
epiphany
something
almost.
that you needed to do.
God said do it, and I did it. I said, all right, I no questions. It's not hard. It's not easy.
Right, I know.
But in all of it, I'm grateful. My gratefulness has gotten me this far. I can only thank God, and that's what I'm keeping.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
I love it. All right, guys. So first and foremost, I just want to thank you for coming all the way out here from Jersey. You know, a bunch of people were stuck in traffic today, but you ain't make that shake you ain't make that break. You came in with a smile on your face, and I'm really grateful for that. I know the whole entire team that's here is really grateful for that. So for right now, we got 3 minutes. We want to open the floor up to anybody who has any questions for Mo. You guys can come right up. We'll hand you the mic, and then we can go from there. So if you could actually come this way, come a little closer this way. So so we don't gotta deal with that. Hello. Come this way.
Hello. Hi, what's going on? Hey, Mo, how you doing? So my question for you is, you know, you speak a lot about how mental health is kind of, in a way, like change your life and change the way, you know, other people, you know, see theirs. Give an example of how you had a conversation with somebody and you explained to them about their mental health or about how their thinking can change, and like their reaction to it was like, it gave you that moment of clarity, like, wow, like this could really kind of like be something for real.
Okay. I have a good friend of mine who's also, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's into all these great things. And when we started entrepreneurship together, and he surpassed me. He was at 6 figures. I was still trying to get like a business checking account.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, early on when I was, you know, getting into this is a good friend of mine. He had a lot of trauma. There were a lot of things that he was masking with entrepreneurship. So he would start random projects for the sake of like just ignoring whatever else is going on back here. And I remember, you know, he started a podcast. He asked me to be a guest. I'm like, this is a great opportunity to tell this man about himself. I got on the podcast, and he's asking me, like, you know, what do you do? All of these things. And I paused him, and I'm like, you know what? I really think that you should go to therapy.
Nah.
He was not open to it. He just like, you know, I'm working on it. I got a journal. I'm doing my thing. I'm like, no, you need to go to therapy. Go to therapy. And he never dropped a podcast episode, so I know he ain't really like that much. But I do know down the line he did get into therapy. It took a while. It took some convincing. It actually took for him to realize like he was depressed. You know, he's starting all these new ventures. Yeah, they were going well, but he was not happy. He was very depressed. And in that, you know, that I could just, all I had to do was think, this is a friend of mine, so I'm thanking God for pushing him in that direction. Then my approach, I don't know if it worked or not, because the podcast episode never dropped. But in that, you know, that was a moment for me to realize I have friends right next to me that need the help that I'm giving others.
Seriously.
So.
Right, not for real.
I need it. I'm your friend. I need it.
All right.
Sure.
All right, so before we close out, because we're at time right now, I'm gonna just give my last remarks. I'm gonna have my co-boss Raven give her last remarks. But as I said again, I'm grateful to have you here, to even have you a part of this big movement that we're honestly creating. And can you let the folks know where to find you? And then once you're done, you can pass it over to Raven, and she can let you know. But before I do pass it over to you, thank y'all for tapping in.
So you can follow me on Instagram. My personal Instagram is at the real Yanda, Yanda. My coaching page, newly established on Instagram, is Pierre Wellness Coaching. But I'm most responsive. I try my best to do. I'm most responsive on my personal Instagram.
Perfect.
I also just want to piggyback off what Sean and just say thank you for coming out. Thank you for traveling. We know that things get tied up. You have things to do. But I definitely appreciate it. I'm definitely going to be the first person to take it with you
For sure.
to figure out what's going on with me. So thank you for coming, and we definitely appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for having me, and I want to thank everyone listening and taking the time to be open, because mental health is not it's moving from taboo to now like table topics, but it's still like some people are closed off to it. So I want to thank everyone for being open, listening, and just giving us your undivided attention. Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
So with that being said, episode 1 done. Let's do it.